8:30, I'd like to call the meeting of the Carroll County Commissioners for June 12th. Meeting to order. First item on the agenda is public input. No public comments.
Oh, we got
Seeing none?
minutes to kill?
What's that?
We got 15 minutes to kill it, or what?
Yeah, looks that way.
Why don't we take care of some of the...
Yep. Okay.
May I make a motion?
Sure. We'll go into regular meeting then.
I'd like to make a motion that we rescind our original ordinance, bylaw, whatever it was,
Policy?
policy that, allow any member of the board to call a lawyer anytime they want, provided it, by the way, who's taking minutes here?
Oh, she's coming. Oh, she's not up. Let me go call her again. She said she was coming up.
Cheryl?
Cheryl, yeah.
Okay.
Let me see where she is. She was
I
coming
suggest,
up.
Mr. Chairman, we recess till she gets here.
She's here.
Here she comes.
Oh, here she is. She's coming down.
Cheryl, I opened the meeting at 8:30. There were no public comments. Mr. Babson has a motion that he's about ready to make.
Can you just put in who's present? I will give you the names. We have 2 people present.
Are you ready, Cheryl?
Mm-hmm.
I move that we rescind our policy of the commissioners requiring a 2/3 vote of the board to call a lawyer on county business.
Seconded. Any further discussion?
Yes, discussion. Commissioner Babson, you made that, I believe, a couple months ago, you make the motion, and is it correct that you referred it like 2 times, it's reversed?
Is it correct what?
2 times you change it, is that correct?
2 times I changed it?
He made
Yes.
a motion, he changed
Because
it
you
once.
make the motion, no. You made a motion a couple months ago, and you said only the chairman can call. And later you came again, and then you said only 2/3 can call.
Right.
And today you come again, and you reverse it again. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So you reverse it 2 times. Thank you.
Is that a problem for you, Commissioner?
It was a problem since the beginning because every commissioner should always call legal counsel for the county if there is an issue coming up. It should never be the chairman only, or you need to take a vote. It shouldn't be that way. And I'm glad that you see it in, that you were wrong, and you're doing the right thing. Thank you very much.
Then why is it such a big concern that we worked on it originally so that it wasn't just the chairman, it was a vote of the board, which included you?
So what are you talking about now? I didn't hear you.
Very clearly what I'm talking about. I asked you, why was it a problem, whether I changed it once, or whether I changed it twice, or whether I changed it 15 times if we're turning around and reversing it this time so that everybody has the right to call.
Yeah, everybody has always the right to call. It should be
Okay.
that way. But my question was, I asked you if you reversed it 2 times. That was the question.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, are you accepting public questions on
No.
topics?
No.
Go down.
All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
And so voted unanimously. You got, go ahead, Mr. Babson.
The Ossipee Main Street program has requested that we put a banner up, if you've seen them around town, from one of the telephone poles out front, and discussing it with the individual running the program. We can put it on any one of they can put it on, they have permission to put it on any one of the poles, as long as the power company okays it. They'd like to put one out here on one of the 2 or 3 poles we have out here. I will make the donation of the banner if the board will approve it.
You make that a motion?
Well, I don't think I should make it a motion if...
I'll make a motion for discussion purposes to permit Commissioner Babson to put up a banner for the town of Ossipee on a pole here on County Complex.
I think we.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Okay, motion
But
made and
just for
seconded.
discussion,
Okay,
yeah?
discussion, go ahead.
Okay. I believe he mentioned that a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
and there was supposed to be a banner in the office. Is it
Yes,
still
it's
there?
still there,
Because I
yes.
didn't
You
see
got it.
any. Where is it then?
Right next, against the file cabinet, right in the office.
It's right next to his
Because I was
desk.
going to look at a banner, but I didn't see any banner.
Right there.
Any further discussion on the motion? I raised the question about,
Did you see the banner?
back 2 weeks ago. I've seen it rolled up. I haven't seen what it says.
But other towns have it too. It is some, what did the banner say on? What is on the banner, Commissioner Babson?
It just promotes Ossipee. It's on many, many, many poles in Ossipee. You've probably driven by a dozen of them and haven't noticed them,
I
but
probably didn't
they
notice.
are all over town.
And the purpose is?
And it promotes?
Is to promote Ossipee and unity in Ossipee and part of their Main Street program.
Okay.
Okay.
I raised the question about other towns doing the same thing. I guess other towns probably wouldn't do it in Ossipee. They'd do it in their own town.
Right.
So I would support the motion right now. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those negatives, nay. I guess it's unanimous.
Unanimous?
So voted. Do we have minutes of,
We have minutes.
May
public
29th.
minutes from May 29th. I just gave you
Okay.
a copy also. I believe we got it a couple weeks ago. And I read it a couple weeks ago, and it seems accurate.
oh,
Is
okay.
there any corrections by the two
May I
commissioners?
read yours, David?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, could we wait till later in the meeting to approve these?
We can delay it if you want. Do we have any other minutes?
No, that's good.
That's it? Okay. I guess at this time, we will announce that we hired an HR, Human Resource Director. Wynette, and I can't think of her last name.
Degroot.
Degroot?
Degroot.
Degroot? Degroot?
Degroot.
Degroot. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. She comes to us from local government center. She's got a lot of experience, a lot of background, very knowledgeable about where she can go to get assistance if she needs it. It was a unanimous decision of both the interview committee as well as the Board of Commissioners. She will start July 15th. And I'd like to make a motion that we hire her at $53,000.
I'll second that.
What was the hiring?
53. The range was 50 to 58, I believe it was.
So the hiring amount is 53?
53,000 a year, yeah.
And,
Starts the 15th of July.
okay, so the hiring amount starts at 53.
Yep.
Okay, is there any probation period in it?
Yes, 6 months probation.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Any further discussion?
And what, did you promise her an increase or suggest it to be an increase if she fulfills the
It'd be an
probationary
increase
period? and you'd
At
be
the end of
fine?
6 months, it would be 55.
Okay.
So at the end of 6 months, it will be 55.
At the end of 6 months, after her probation period,
But,
she'd go to 55.
but the previous one, Janet Sullivan, got more. Why?
That's right.
Why So we
Janice Sullivan started at 50 and went to 58.
58.
Yeah,
So why is this different then?
because of probation. She goes to 55 after 6 months.
But the previous had also probation and went to 58.
That's right. Right.
I'm trying to figure out.
Because
what-
that's the
Well,
price that Mr. Chairman
That's what
negotiated.
that's
That's
what I
what-
negotiated with her.
But how can you negotiate it with her as a board? We all three commissioners need to negotiate a price.
That's why we're making a motion now to accept the 53,000 and 6 months probation.
And she knows she's getting that amount.
Right.
So how does she know that, and when did she know that?
When she was hired, when she was offered the job, she had to give notice to her where she works. And she would start on the 15th
She started on the 15th of July?
of July. Yeah.
And she just...
She wanted to
getting-
take vacation and so forth, and decided that when she's on probation here, she wouldn't get any vacation time.
And you decided just to give her 55,000 when she is...
53 to 55 after 6 months.
53 now, to start.
Yep,
And after that, you decide that she's getting 55.
yeah, yep. You want to offer her more?
No, I just wanted, wanted that, the board decided,
Yep.
we asked the commissioners, this is what we're going to do, so I know, and I
Mhm.
didn't know that.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be like Janice Sullivan, you start with this, and this is what you're getting.
Yeah.
But it seems she's getting less, but I didn't know that you make that offer to her.
Okay,
And I will go along with that offer.
okay. All those in support of the motion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah. Discussion?
May I suggest that you change your motion to say that her starting salary is 53,000, the probationary period is 6 months, and at the end of 6 months, if her performance is
Satisfactory?
satisfactory, she'll go to 55,000.
Okay. I'll make that change. All those in support of the motion then say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, nay. Then so voted.
Did Commissioner Kenney vote?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we need to, there is a, I'll let Howie announce the Friday event. I guess at this time, Howie, you have a report for us?
I do, but prior to the report, what I would like to do is to introduce you to New Hampshire's County LNA of the Year, Erin Higgins. Erin, if you'd come forward, along with Becky Mason, our Director of Nursing Services, I believe the commissioners have a presentation for you. Now, actually, if to bear your indulgence, what I'd like to suggest
Okay.
is for Becky to read her nomination letter, so that
Okay,
everybody can learn a little bit more about Erin and why she
Great.
got this award.
great.
Okay, this LNA is small in stature but has a smile as big as the sky. She is a special woman with a true role model for licensed nursing assistants. Erin enters Mountain View community each day with a smile and a sense of team and family. She takes great pride in the care she delivers to each and every resident. They are always safe, clean, neat, comfortable, and happy, and above all, they feel special. Erin is there for all the special moments and encourages the residents and families to celebrate them to the fullest, assisting in any way she can to make sure they're even more memorable. She is a great listener, joining the residents in laughter as well as tears. She is always smiling and has a wonderful positive attitude that carried over to her residents. Her can-do attitude is infectious. She is often asked to assist covering extra shifts, which she is always willing to do to keep the residents safe and cared for. She goes above and beyond, even when working extra, to make the residents feel as if they're home and they are the most important individual to have their needs and wants met. Erin is respected by her peers, residents, and all staff at Mountain View community who work with her. She is loved by the residents. Some of the comments from her peers, residents, and managers are always a very positive attitude with a smile on her face, very helpful, and she loves us, and it shows by her actions taking excellent care of us, makes any new employee feel like part of the team to the point that they want to work when she's scheduled. Residents just love her caring ways. very flexible and adaptable to change in schedules or assignments, and a great team player. If Erin is having a stressful day, you would never know it because she always has a smile on her face and she's always caring. Additionally, Erin is a shining example for all licensed nursing assistants on what their true profession is all about. That is the caring of others in a professional and personal manner that maintains the resident's dignity and respect as an individual. She is one of the most professional individuals that I know, and because of this, it would be great representation of the profession if she was awarded LNA of the Year for the state of New Hampshire.
Wow, what a positive application.
You know, I think
Very nice.
I think it's important that we point out again and again that it isn't just for Carroll County, it's for the entire state, which puts her many hundred people above everybody else.
And the commissioners have put together, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all. I just think she should be recognized for it being statewide, not just county.
And the commissioners had a proclamation by the Carroll County Board of Commissioners to Erin Higgins, New Hampshire County LNA of the Year. Whereas licensed nursing assistants play a critical role in providing care and support for our elders. And whereas Erin Higgins has demonstrated by her professionalism, skill, competence, and attitude all of the attributes that make her an exceptional LNA. And whereas Erin Higgins LNA has distinguished herself by being chosen by her peers and by residents as Mountain View Community's LNA of the Year, and as whereas Erin Higgins LNA has further distinguished herself by being chosen LNA of the Year from among all of the New Hampshire counties. And now, therefore, we as Commissioners of Carroll County do hereby recognize and honor Erin Higgins for her dedication and commitment to all she does as a licensed nursing assistant at Mountain View Community, and so do proclaim that Wednesday, June 12th, 2013, to be Erin Higgins Day in grateful acknowledgement and appreciation of all that you do for the residents of Mountain View Community, signed by all three commissioners. Congratulations.
David.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, let's get you all in there for a photo.
Oh,
This is for you.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay, now, take your time.
Well, let me get these chairs.
You get the chance, we'll wait for you. We want to get a good picture here. We'll wait for Commissioner Babson.
She's got her cheaters on here.
Oh, I know, she's much taller. Okay, everybody looking at me now and smiling. And another one. And we'll go for one more, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.
Well done.
That was well done. I hope we do more like this in the future. Thank you, Becky.
I have a question for Howie on this subject. Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Howie, you're proclaiming the 15th Erin Higgins Day. What does that mean over there? Free
don't know.
lunch, day off with pay, special parking space, what happens?
Well, we haven't got that far yet. It's at least 2 hours of pay, but this is new to us. So we're looking for different ways. We're also, next week, will be the resident appreciation part, which we want to do concurrent with the breakfast. So
Oh, is
we'll
that
have
next
residents
week's
gathered,
breakfast?
and those of you that can make it next week, so we'll have further recognition at that time as well. And so it's important. And Erin is a wonderful example, so that we couldn't have a better example.
Sounds that way.
Something that I hope that we will be doing is periodically, something that we're going to call heartfelt recognition, to have an opportunity for you as commissioners to recognize staff members, not for doing necessarily truly extraordinary things, but doing ordinary things in an extraordinary way. And because people need to be thanked for the little things that they're doing day in, day out. And so that part will be forthcoming. But I want to stay away from kind of the employee of the month type of thing, but want to have something tied to a specific action or behavior or something. Typically what would be nominated by most times by either other staff members or typically by families who will notice something that's noteworthy.
I hope that that plaque does go up somewhere at the nursing home for a period of time, so other people will see that we did recognize her.
In fact, what I'd like to do, in fact, I asked Kathy if she would if she had made a copy of that before she framed it, so that we'd give one to Erin, and we would actually create and keep in a post in a permanent place,
Oh,
or
okay.
semi-permanent place.
Yeah.
Another, just so that the people can remember. We've added a bulletin board across the hallway from the administrative offices that already has Erin's pictures on it. So we're now posting photographs in-house along with Facebook too.
Oh, good.
Would this be an opportunity for us to have something like Employee of the Year, Employee of the Month parking area?
We had that at one time.
Sometimes I notice that at various times, some people are parking all the way up here. Not that it's a huge walk in the middle of summer, but in the winter, it would be a plus if it was across the street from the entrance.
It certainly can be done. Now, if there's a problem with it in an operation that's running 7 days and around the clock, is you typically have a good spot for the employee of the month. Well, what happens on the day when he or she isn't working, and the shifts when he or she isn't working? Does it stay? Who uses it then? And how does anybody know when? So it sometimes can create a bit of a problem. So I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but I'm hoping that there are other ways. That the problem with Employee of the Month is that it's great for the first 3-4 months. And then it's a matter of, is it taking turns rather than really being something special? What we do now, and Becky is responsible for it, we do have an employee raffle once a month where there's a gift, either that or either a gift. Gas cards have been popular of late, but sometimes gift baskets with a random drawing. So we have been giving something away each month, and we do hope to be moving to this heartfelt recognition very, very soon. But certainly a designated parking spot, if we could.
I have an easy solution for the designated parking spot.
Okay.
You don't park there unless you're the Employee of the Month, period.
Well, but then it stays empty when the person
That's
isn't
fine,
working.
it stays
and
empty,
somebody's-
it's
okay.
recognized for that person for the month. What was my other thought on it? If I just think when someone is chosen as
Especially
as
for the
the
state.
employee, not Employee of the Month, but to be the best in the state. I mean, there's got to be hundreds of LNAs.
Oh,
Yeah.
thousands.
And here's the top one, and it's recognition day. We ought to be doing something that makes this person really feel important for the good job that they've done.
No, to be sure, and I think the stories aren't exactly clear. I think this is the first time that there's been commissioner recognition of this order. So this is an improvement, but to the degree that we can do more, we should, because it is certainly worthy of that.
Now, I don't know what we do. You make a good point with the parking space. If it's every month, it's just a rollover. But this is really special. I mean, this is a special performance, and it ought to be recognized. So
I think she ought to have a parking spot with this kind of
for a year, as far as I'm
recognition by the state.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever had that before.
I've never heard it referred to.
Never have
but
either.
That doesn't mean that we can't.
Especially in LNA. Well, let's see what we can do for a parking area or something. I agree, it ought to be something that stands out. And if we're going to recognize people, we need to do it appropriately, and it's very important. Okay, well, thank you for doing all that. I guess you and I both found out about this on Friday. Is that my understanding? I didn't know about it until when I called on somebody at the New Hampshire Association of Counties, and they said that they had chosen her to be the LNA of the year.
Well, interestingly, Friday I only found out when Becky called me from the event, which was on Thursday. Spoke with Steve Woods, who was the president of the affiliates group of the nursing home administrators, and I asked Steve, so and he actually made the presentation the day before. Said, Steve,
Oh.
who made the decision, and why didn't we know? He said he didn't know until he got there. So there was a subcommittee that makes it, and apparently they keep it very, very secret, even from the president of the association. So because we thought, well, if we had known, we might have assembled a whole group to go down.
Yeah.
As it was, we gave Erin the choice of who would she like to go with her? Becky, me, or both? Well, she decided it'd be a little bit more, it'd be easier and a little bit more fun for her if it were just Becky. So the
Okay.
two of them went down. But if we knew that she was gonna be LNA of the year, we could have actually
Yeah,
done more.
yeah.
Well, that's something we should be taking her down to the Association of Counties.
We didn't know,
Recognize it.
did we?
We didn't know.
Well, she will be, now, if it's true to
I mean, in
form,
front of the commissioners, not some other.
well, she will be typically invited and presented at the county meeting this fall. I think the LNA of the year for the counties is presented to the entire conference. So.
Okay.
So I'm.
That's right.
So I think that with your permission, would want to invite her to the conference.
Sure.
Because I
Yep.
think she's recognized at that time
Absolutely.
countywide.
Yep,
So that'll be
Statewide.
another opportunity coming up.
yep. Very good. Okay.
Well, I have a bunch of stuff for you, just in case, not all of it requiring action, but let me give you the copies, just in case you haven't, I don't want to count on you having necessarily have had to print everything off. Census remains high, and skilled census remains high. Census today is 102 with others under consideration, but we've had 2 admissions, recently, so we're doing well on that count. Flagpole dedication is scheduled for 10:30 this Friday. The flagpole guy is supposed to be here today.
It's not up?
It's not up. Oh, this is him. I should be more worried than I am. He has allowed tomorrow as a fallback. The electrician is here, so we've done all the prep work, so
Okay.
just waiting for the flagpole. I met with the donor last night. Carroll came by. So,
Oh, good.
So she's agreed to be willing. She's reluctant to have publicity, but she's willing to. So
Good.
she is hopefully going to be there on
I talked to her
Friday.
on the phone, and she wasn't sure she could be there at 10:30. She thought she had an appointment.
She's going to try, but she
Okay.
came by with a check, which is remarkable.
And also, there's 2 Rotarians from Ossipee that will be there,
Oh, good.
so they probably ought to be somehow recognized. I don't know what your plan is with that event. but-
Well, in fact, we're going to have kind of a dedication ceremony. Now, what role are the Rotarians taking?
Nothing,
Oh,
other
okay.
than they're maintaining that garden area, supposedly. That's
so
supposed
they
to
are
be their
the-
responsibility.
So they're doing the garden part, okay, because I
Right.
didn't, because I know she's doing the pole.
Yeah.
But Rotarians are supporting the maintenance and development of the garden, okay. Now, the plan is to have dedication. We have a minister with a dedication prayer. Hopefully, we're going to have a bugler. We should have an American Legion color guard. It's a relatively brief ceremony followed by lunch inside, but it's important. And the resident council will be taking the lead in coordinating the event, so
Okay.
helping them along with the process.
Okay.
But Velma Clark should be leading the process. Next week, we have the resident breakfast buffet, where we'll have another recognition for Erin by the residents.
And toast.
And who?
And toast.
And toast. Let me be sure the toast. Both sides or just one side?
I don't care.
Blackened or just tan? Pretty good. Smoking policy has become an issue. When we got into the extremely hot weather, the prospects of staff members smoking in their 110-degree cars, because we have to lock the cars and should, became an issue. There was also another associated issue with the House of Correction. But it does bring to bear that the policy might need a look, and I know that it had been being reviewed at one point.
We're reviewing it, and we're talking about it. And I agree, and I think we have mentioned it about reviewing that and changing that policy. What happens, they smoke in their car, and their clothes then just get full of smoke, and then they go and work or help with a resident, and that's not fair. My suggestion would be, and we'll discuss it, is that we have 25 feet or 50 feet away from a building, and allow that area to be considered a smoking area.
You know, I would even recommend, rather than giving a distance, to, as I noted here, just have it be in designated areas, which could be even further away. Because the truth is, we wouldn't want people smoking at the entrance. So
No.
people walking in, so even though they'd be 50 feet away,
Good point.
that wouldn't be appropriate. But an area in back, behind the fence. So even if you kept it as open as being designated area, that gives each building the opportunity to designate where it'd be appropriate, if at all.
Yeah, yeah.
But that would be a kindness, and of course, we get situations too where night staff don't feel comfortable going out always to their cars, and not all the staff, some staff are dropped off by spouses and friends, don't have a car.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And so that's
Yeah.
so that it's, and I'm not suggesting, and the other alternative is not to have any smoking anywhere on grounds. That creates a different.
That was talked about when the policy first went in, that there would be no smoking on the campus at all. And there was a compromise made to allow them to smoke in their cars, which we need to change. No question about it.
Is there any interim action that you want me to be able to take or allow while that's under consideration?
Mr.
Well, have you had a
Chairman, I'll
chance?
make a motion that we allow the
Different.
employees of the nursing home to smoke outside the building in designated areas for a period of 30 days, which will give us a chance to talk about the jail and the administration building and the others. But they appear to need the immediate relief.
Okay,
Take a second for discussion.
okay.
Yes, I
I'll-
second that.
Okay, it's been seconded. Go ahead for
And,
discussion.
I think maybe you can add that how Chandler is going to see where the designated areas are.
Right.
Okay, any further discussion? All those, go ahead.
Just my feeling is, I wasn't on this board when that policy was put in place.
Yeah.
And at the time, it didn't make much sense to me. 2 or 3 people outside smoking isn't gonna pollute the earth. And I think at a very minimum, we should have it, if you can smoke outside away from the building. If we had designated areas, then we can put the folks somewhere where there might be a canopy for them to smoke under instead of getting soaking wet. And I think it's much more reasonable to have it in a designated area. And for this 30 days, we'll leave it up to Howard to figure out where it is at the nursing home, and then we can discuss the other.
Then I can report back to you how it goes, but I think it'll go,
Yeah.
I think it'll be well received and be well respected.
Effective immediately. All those in support of the motion say aye. Aye, and so voted.
Other things that I have for you, there have been 3 policies that have submitted to you that are attached, that are ready for your review, not necessarily today, but they are ready. That is the admissions policy, the building use policy, and also a preliminary cash management internal accounting control policy that was requested. The good news is that in looking at all the internal accounting controls, especially as it applies to cash management, which is largely a cafe issue, there's one minor change that I've made to help ensure the internal. There was no problem with accounting for the cash, but with internal accounting control, one of your biggest points of vulnerability is actually making deposits. You want to be sure, we've always had separation of people from doing the accounting from the deposits, but now we're matching up separate deposits for cash from general deposits so that we can match them. The real challenge is, how would you know if a deposit wasn't made? Easy to know if it's made the wrong amount, but how would you know a deposit wasn't made?
Bank statement.
Well, but how would you know that it was supposed to have been made?
Don't you have carbon deposit?
But what
slips,
what if it never gets to the bank? Not a problem with the bank, but what if it slips between the seat and the car? What if it falls into the back seat?
Same situation, Howard. I would think over there that you'd have the carbonized copy of the deposit. David writes the deposit slip out, takes the money and the deposit slip and puts it somewhere, and goes to the bank and takes a copy of it and gives it to a third person or the person that does the accounting at the end of the month. So when it comes in, how come we've got a deposit slip here for $300, but it isn't in the, I have a carbon copy here and it's not on the bank statement.
That's essentially what we're doing now. In fact, what we're doing is going to take a photocopy of the actual deposit receipt and match that back to the deposit, so that we know that nothing has been stuck in a back drawer, and of course it keeps anything from happening that's illegal. But our biggest problem could actually be something that by oversight, it all looks.
Well, loss
An
of
empty
oversight. would be
bag and
bigger.
a full bag look the same, and so this way that was the only point of vulnerability in essentially using a system that's slightly modified from what you have, just taking a copy of the actual. I want to actually show the same day that the deposit was made, that we just staple that to it. So Rob gives us that money, his $300, the deposit receipt is attached to that. We know his $300 was deposited. But otherwise, we have actually very good internal accounting controls that whoever's making the deposit isn't doing the same. So there's always a two-person. We did change one of the other things that will allow anytime. The other point of sensitivity in an organization is strangely petty cash. And it's not huge amounts. When it comes to money, it doesn't have to be a big amount to be a big problem. Now I've just to make it, to be sure that there's always two people that sign off on that. And that doesn't have to be a special person, but always two people. So essentially there are two people approving and one person getting the money. So not that we have any problems, but we want to keep it that way. We never want there to be any suspicion. But we also want to have it in writing so that you can have confidence that there is actually a system in place. And we're going to be continuing to refine that a bit as we get into some of the separate resident accounts that has its own protocols that the state requires. And that'll be included in this policy at some point soon as well.
I was just quickly going through the use of the building. Would there be somebody in charge at the nursing home when an organization uses that?
Well, there's provision for that. So that, and there's also a provision for a charge for that, depending on the nature of the event. Some groups, there'd be absolutely no need for that. If a group is cooperative and helpful, our biggest problem with use of the building after hours is door access. So if we have a group, call it a chess group, and they're willing to have one of their people be at the door to let their members in and out, so one person can have the code, we don't have a problem. If we have a group that's unwilling to do that, but willing to pay one of our staff members to be there, we can also do that. There's some groups, if they were big enough and they were bringing in food, we might actually require that we have a staff member present. So what are the general tone of the policy is to keep it flexible, but also to recognize that while it can be available for community use, it is not a public building. So to the degree that we can have community in, it's good for the community, it's good for our residents, it's good for the county. But we're not saying that it's open access, because first and foremost, the quiet enjoyment of Mountain View by the residents is important. So having a community-based drum and bugle corps come into practice is not going to be typically acceptable, no matter how good they are and how noble. And so there are some uses that would be incompatible. A group of people who are spinning yarn are wonderfully compatible, and I mentioned that because they actually have come in, and they were a source of entertainment for residents coming in. That's a wonderful source, and they don't require any special attention. They're coming in during the day. So we want to see people use the building, but we want to look at it almost always on a case-by-case basis. But I think the more we use it, the better.
Do you have a maintenance person on during those hours?
We do through first and second shift 7 days a week.
Okay.
There's always staff there during any time there would be somebody. But of course, they have their own duties with laundry going back and forth. They wouldn't be able to be present for an event the whole
And what
time.
happens if somebody comes in, an organization comes in, and wants to do a PowerPoint presentation, you're going to have somebody there to help set them up, screen and
Well, we could,
projector and all that. They have to do that when they apply for the use of the room?
exactly.
Okay.
And to the degree that it's helpful to us, if it's beneficial to us, I mean, the idea is, ideally, we'll never be charging anybody anything. But we wouldn't want to open the building up to, let's say, an insurance person selling long-term care insurance. Because we have to be careful that by association, Mountain View's reputation and the county's reputation are in play, and endorsing a particular private person might not be in the best interest.
Mm-hmm.
But to the degree that we can help by setting up projector and screen, we'd of course want to.
Okay.
Because I look at these people as being the same ones that are going to be donating money to us, whether it's Rotarians or Kiwanians.
Sure, go ahead.
David, I think one addition, how it might be, let's hypothetically say you had a Grange meeting in the smaller room. I think one of the things you should consider is a clause in here that says something like, if a member of the resident of the nursing home wants to attend the meeting, under most conditions, they will be allowed to do so. Let's say the person was a retired Grange member and wanted to go. I don't think they should be excluded from the room.
Oh, no, in fact, that'd be a perfect thing in terms of
Part of
bringing
this is
it.
to entertain and make the residents happy. I'm not quite sure how you'd word it, but I wouldn't want to see them excluded from something that really should be a public meeting
No, and to
or
that
open to
end,
the public.
to that end, what we need to do, that could be tied as simply as that community events will be posted and notice invitations made, because we would want residents, Grange member, it could, whether it's Grange, Masonic, Kiwanian, Rotarian meeting, if there are senior active, Rotarians who are residents, wouldn't it be wonderful for them to
Yes.
know? But
Exactly.
part of that could just come from posting events.
And a private meeting, is that addressed?
I believe so. Because it doesn't, because, conceivably, it's not saying that any particular group couldn't come, with the exception of getting into political events.
Yeah.
Doesn't, and that is not intended at all to restrict the rights of any resident who might want to invite in the politician of their choice. A politician being invited in is different than the politician inviting themselves in. Now, those who are already elected are a different matter, because they have the right and should have the right, and we would encourage the right to meet with constituents,
Mhm.
at any time. So that's certainly no problem. And it's the same with religious use. There's nothing the matter with religious use as long as it's not designed to proselytize, as long as it's not a religious use. As long as the religious use is open to residents, but it's not trying to promote a particular religion.
So if a religious group wanted to use that as a meeting place for their particular religion, then how would it be handled?
It would have to be open to residents. And if it were, because, wouldn't it be wonderful if the Methodists, the Baptists, the Episcopals, and the group could have a service close by? Where it wouldn't lend itself to most religious groups is, we're not going to make the commitment to anybody that they can be there every Thursday at a certain time. Because, and if there's a big catch in all of this, it's that we're not going to make arrangements, but essentially on a monthly basis, because the activity program has to have first say of that space. So we're not going to nobody's going to be able to set up a regular church in the building. Now, there are some groups spinning, for example, who come during the day, for whom are very flexible. They can meet in any number of different spaces. If they wanted to come every 60 days, we're going to be able to find space for them. But we're not going to say that small room is going to be available to any one group on an ongoing basis at all. That keeps us from being exploited.
Mm-hmm.
But if there were a religious group that wanted to come for a hymn sing, or to do something different, or even if they had a conflict with a meeting space and they were coming once or twice, it'd be good to welcome them.
Okay, I think, Cheryl, if you put the copy of this with the minutes. Okay, Howie, what else you got?
Number 7, the certificate of need update indirectly tied to resident lifts. Each year, we have to provide an update to the certificate of need board. In order to have built the new building, you secured a waiver from the certificate of need board. Because ordinarily in New Hampshire, you cannot exceed expenditures of $1 million, and certainly $20 million was higher than the limit. So yesterday, I provided the update to them. They also notified me that the certificate of need expires next year, in 2014. So essentially, apart from the bonding requirements, what they're looking for is that any work that remains to be done or any expenses that need to be done should be done by October 2014. So it's plenty of time. But to that end, as we think about things that we might want to spend out of construction monies, notably additional lifts in garden areas. Some actually, there are aspects of the garden area that would easily qualify as part of the construction expense. Because as I look to that, and it's kind of related to number 8 as well. What I'm proposing to you based on the garden committee input, which has been largely through email, and also discussions with staff, suggesting to you structural changes for the 3 garden areas. Essentially, a concrete pad for out back to create a patio garden area adjacent to the garden. Also adding water and power there, and in the courtyards, adding water and power. Now, having water and power in each of those 3 areas then allow the plantings to go on as need be, and that can be done incrementally. But this would result in some, I just started soliciting concrete costs this week, haven't heard anything back yet. But we're talking a few dollars to do all these things. And I'm waiting for Bob to come back for us to start getting some of the water and power estimates. So I'll be gathering estimates, if that's in keeping with your expectations, I'll be gathering some real numbers for you to build up, to put out there.
Yeah. Regarding the lifts, I did talk with the chairman of the delegation, and she thought that it was appropriate to have it in the budget each year to increase them 5 or 10, whatever it is, budgeted each year, rather than taking it out of the building fund.
And that is one way. Of course, it costs us about 25% to do that. I mean, we lose the opportunity of a bulk purchase, and we might lose the opportunity of these refurbished units, which is a 50% savings. So there's a cost to doing that. And what we're finding, faster than I told you, is that we're running. It seems that virtually everybody coming in is needing a lift. And it used to be that you would be there a while before needing it. Increasingly, the acuity of people coming in, especially our admission policy does and should give preference to those in greatest need.
Yeah.
So we're finding that we don't have. In fact, we've had to go out and buy one this past week.
Have you used up your budget this year for the lifts?
I think we budgeted for 3, and I think we were at
now
we're 6 months in.
already.
I think we're at 3, and we actually effectively have to start essentially taking money from other items in order to be able to pay for them.
Refresh my memory on the breakdown. How many would we have to buy to get a percent savings?
About 30.
30?
We need more. I mean, we have more rooms without them than that, but 30 would get us the most favorable pricing.
And those are all refurbished?
Those are, if refurbished ones are still available, that's what we would recommend, because it has a new.
And they're about 50% savings?
50% savings, and with a new unit warranty.
Anybody on the board want to make any comments regarding? He said he could use 10 more, and 50% savings is quite a value.
Yeah, yes, I have a comment. I asked for it a while ago, if we buy and build up the lifts, if we get a discount, and you mentioned no. So now we are getting a discount?
We get
Because
a,
I asked for it.
we get a discount when we buy refurbished or we buy in bulk. So that we actually get a good price even, we get a fairly good price because we've negotiated with multiple vendors and they've bid it, so that even if we buy one, we're getting a good price. We're getting even one at about a 20% discount to the manufacturer's list. But if we buy refurbished, we can buy at half of that. And if we buy in bulk, we can get an extra 20 to 30% off of that. So there's significant savings to be had.
So you already purchased the 3 lifts, what you had budgeted for?
Correct.
And how many lifts do we need more total?
Boy, right now, if you ask the staff, we could probably easily use 5. But we're tracking it, needing them much faster than we would have ever hoped. We thought 3 or 4 a year would be plenty, and we're not sure that. But what we're going to need another 3, 4, or 5 for the balance of the year.
So at this time, you need another 5?
Well, not in the short term. We needed 1. Right now, we are maxed out. We don't have
Okay.
any surplus capacity. We don't have any backup if one breaks. If someone new comes in or someone else falls, we have to scramble. So we have no capacity right now at all.
Commissioner Babson.
I think we would be being penny wise and pound foolish by not purchasing as many as we can get at a reduced price of 50%. It just doesn't make any sense to go next year and pay 50% more than we could pay this year.
Are you saying we ought to buy 10 at 50% off? Out of the bond money?
I'm saying we ought to buy as many as we need out of the bond money and get it over with. And
Oh, all of them?
well, if we can get this kind of savings with the quantity, why not do it? And you're paying it on a very low interest cost. You're paying it off.
How many do we presently have?
We have right now,
About 30, don't we?
I think we have 75. I
75?
think we took it to half. So we have about 75 now.
We have 75?
lifts?
I think when you first outfitted the building, it was to half. Oh, no, well, that would have been the 55.
Yeah, we don't
And
have
then we added
75.
five,
We
so
don't have
we might be at 60 or so. So, I mean, we really
We need
need
another 40.
another 40, and now something less than that would probably work. Of course, being 100% is always better, but we'll probably never have 100%, and we can move them around. So that if we
Yeah,
needed to
but-
compromise with the delegation, 30 would be a good workable number. I mean, it's not complete, but it's substantially complete.
I would certainly find out where we're gonna get the break. If we can get a break, if
Yeah.
we need 40, and they'll give us the same break for 25 or 30, that's where I'd go.
We
But
get the
if-
break at 30.
If we have to buy the whole lot, and we can save, what did you say, 50% on a refurbished plus 20%?
Exactly.
I think we'd be foolish not to do the whole thing, but if we can get away with going 3/4 of what we really need at this time, I think that's more prudent.
30 would be a wonderful number to have. 40 would be
Mhm.
better, but 30, I mean, I don't want to cry wolf and say that we would use 40 right off. But 30, which would get us, 30 would be the greatest value in terms of getting us the biggest discount, the biggest bang for the dollar at the point. And it might represent a compromise proposal to the delegation because it would be half of what we need instead of all of what we need.
And I think it might be helpful if Howie came and explained it to the delegation.
Monday, delegation meets on Monday.
Monday.
The discount is for refurbished, is at 50%?
50% for
For
refurbished,
refurbished?
and another 20% off of that if we buy 30 or more.
Okay.
And
And
excuse me, Asha.
Go
the
ahead.
new ones, how much discount get we if it is brand new?
Typically, because we're county and because we bid it, usually we're able to get about 20% off of list price. Sometimes 30 if you're buying more than one. But even with one, we typically get a good price. Well, I mean, I'm not sure who pays full list price, so I mean, it's not it's not that hard to get that 20%. Pretty much that just comes from asking.
Do we have refurbished ones in the nursing home now?
We do, and we've been very pleased with them.
And
they
they're
have
working out fine?
And they have a new unit guarantee, and they're actually from the same provider that we buy the new ones from. So we're not going through a fly-by-night. It's the same people who service and take care of them now.
Go ahead.
How you said it was 50% off a refurbished unit if we buy whatever the number was, 20%, your quote was off of that.
Correct.
Is it 20% off of the original price more, or is it 20% off the 50% reduced price?
It's 20% off the 50%.
Okay.
If my math were better, I could tell you what the net
Yeah.
amount would be, but it's so that if we
But it's not
buy,
off the top, it's off the 50%.
so if we buy one refurbished unit, it's 50% off the cost of new. If we buy 30 refurbished, we get an additional 20% discount for buying in bulk and paying in a single check.
And at least 30, yeah? That is what you mentioned.
Okay, if you would put something in writing as a handout, it'd be great to
Now,
have it for
what time do
Monday.
they meet? What time?
9 o'clock.
Oh, 9 o'clock next Monday. I will be ready.
And what is the price of the refurbished and the new one?
About $1,500 for refurbished and about
Yeah.
$3,000. So we're talking, not just as a percentage, sounding like a lot, but at $1,500 a pop, it's a significant savings.
Sure is.
And you say on the refurbished one, you get the warranty? There is-
Full new, the refurbished ones actually came out of, I believe it was Faulkner Hospital, or New England Deaconess Hospital.
I thought it was Beth Israel.
That's all right, doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
make any
You
difference.
might have a
Doesn't
better
make any
memory than
difference.
You might be right, but I know it's one of those.
It was a Boston hospital anyway.
They don't really see much use, but when a hospital goes through, they want everything to be exactly the same, so, our provider had a bunch of, hardly used, lifts, so.
Okay.
And I'll confirm that they're still available.
Okay, we need to move along.
Other things that I have, just by way of, not requiring action, but staffing updates, we have Lisa Thomas as new MDS coordinator, Jen Chiavacci as new director of social services, Lisa Howard has moved to be our new full-time social worker, Norma Tavares as our new accounts receivable clerk, and we have two staffs out to 4 days of primex supervisory training, Bob Murray and Courtney Bergeron, who is one of our nurse supervisors. Computer updates, we've been having some problems, but we're hopeful.
I have a question. All these people what you mentioned, they already working here? You just went to a different position?
The only new-
Norma Tavares, she moved from one position to another one?
Yeah, Norma had been part-time as a receptionist.
Oh, okay.
And so she was also doing part-time, so she'll be coming on full-time when her school job ends in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
The only completely new person is the first one, Lisa Thomas, as MDS coordinator.
Okay.
She comes to us she'd been doing similar work at Golden View in Meredith.
Okay.
And that's working out very well. So we're very pleased with all these reassignments and promotions.
Okay?
Computer problems, we hope will be solved with a replacement of the server that John estimates could be as soon as next week.
Mm-hmm.
We are having a little bit of a problem with Primex, but we're hopeful, I'm hopeful anyways, that calmer minds will prevail and they will reverse their denial of a claim.
What are you talking about?
Oh,
I don't
the
know what-
last one, Primex, they denied a workers' comp claim that goes back 2 years ago, and I think they're wrong. Yeah, we all think they're wrong. So we're looking to see how we can it's small dollars, but it's more a matter of the principle of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the dollars involved, $342, but it's something they should stand behind.
I have a
Okay.
question on the 4 days of Primex training. Where is that? Is it in Concord?
It isn't in Concord, it is, Bob told me it's somewhere, I think it's, Waterville Valley.
Okay, so they're staying there for 4 days?
Nope, they're commuting, but it's free. Waterville Valley.
The Primex is always free.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's no charge, it's essentially the same cost that we would have because they'd be on payroll, but it's, from all report, wonderful training. I mean, it's very intensive training, and it's good to get our people out for this kind of training, and we're lucky Primex. They call it a supervisor's academy. It's very, I looked over the agenda, and it looks to be a pretty intense training.
Okay, that's it.
That's all I have for you.
Thank you, Harvey. We'll
Thank
see
you
you
very
Friday.
much.
See you then.
Golly, we were way ahead in the beginning, now we're way behind. We could move across the hall for non-public for the interview with the minute taker.
Oh, okay.
Is that all right?
Is she here?
Huh?
Is she here?
I don't know. Supposed to be here
Oh,
at
are
9
you the
o'clock.
one?
Yeah, okay. Want to do that?
One
I
is
think
here.
we should take care of that now.
Okay, so
Can
are
we
you
do
making
that
a motion?
across the hall?
We'll do it immediately, across the hall.
Yeah, okay.
Are you making a motion to go into non-public then?
Yes. Move that we go into non-public under RSA 91A3, paragraph 2, A, B, and C. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Second. Roll call.
Commissioner Babson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sorensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Kenney? Yes.
And so voted. We'll go across the hall.
Are you doing all of the
9:30.
non-public sessions now? You have
Yes.
3,
Yes.
and then are you coming back into public?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And into public, we had a non-public session. We took the minutes and we sealed them with one exception, and that is we'll have non-public for a second interview for the minute taker at 11:30. There's another applicant that we need to interview. So that said, we're back into public. And the only item left on the agenda would be public input.
Well, one other thing, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
We've got to establish how we're going to set a fee for
Oh,
these.
yeah.
And as much as Commissioner Kenney said it was her idea, it wasn't, it was mine, that we go to a fee rather
Then we go to a
than-
flat fee for the
rather-
minute taker?
Yes, rather than paying mileage and per hour. When a person's home doing it, we don't know what they're doing.
Can we, in order to come up with that, could we go back and look at what we have paid previous minute takers to get a rough idea as to what that flat rate should be?
Yes, we can. My recollection was it was $20 an hour. But we didn't, and then they took them home and did them, so we had no, my recommendation is we pay $50 a session, $40, whatever because it takes, as she said, and I know from a friend of mine that
Twice
did
as-
them for a short time, it takes more time at home than it does sitting here taking the minutes.
Point of order.
I'll let you talk, go ahead.
Thank you. Just keep in mind that a flat fee would not reflect any sudden drastic changes in fuel.
Oh,
That's true. We could do it another way. We could have a flat fee for taking the minutes plus mileage. And the mileage we could change if the price goes up or goes down. That's probably a better way to do it.
You know,
Thank you,
just in
John.
all fairness, you know.
I think that's a better suggestion.
Asha, you have any figure as to a flat fee? Based on what we've paid previous minute takers? And what was the hourly rate that we were paying the past?
$13.50.
$13.
$13.50?
an hour.
That was, wait,
I didn't think it was 20, I thought it was
Okay.
pretty high.
no, it was $13.50, and we're going now on a flat fee.
Well, it looks like it might be a flat fee plus mileage, which means mileage, if,
Oh, but if you do mileage, if people come from far away.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I think I would stay with a flat fee, period. And if mileage goes up or goes down, the flat fee stands. We need to have a figure as to roughly, and I know some of our minutes are long, some of them are short. It would even out, I think, that's the average. But do you have any idea what we have paid for the minutes?
That is why I wanted to look in all the stuff, and you said I couldn't look into it because you voted against it. I look only into because you said, look how much we're paying, and I get to, when I wanted to look at everything the whole year, how much we paid, how many hours and everything, you voted against it. You said, I cannot look in that. And now you ask me that you look into it.
Okay,
I
what
think,
would you suggest that we have as a flat rate?
I have to think because we're going to include now non-public too, so it will be longer. And we should go with a flat fee because it is all different. Sometimes the meetings are short, but sometimes non-public is short, but sometimes non-public is long. We had non-public as long as 4 hours, 3 hours.
So what are you suggesting for a flat fee?
Yeah, let me think for a second.
Time's up. Time's up.
What do you have in mind, the two commissioners? What do you think? And in the flat fee, is everything included, like the mileage will be in it too?
Well, the question has come up, what happens if the gas prices go up? The question is, if we hire somebody in Ossipee, there's not going to be very much mileage, but if we hire somebody from Jackson or Bartlett or Moulton Borough, then there's going to be a lot of mileage.
Yeah.
So it's going to vary. I think, in all due respect, I think we ought to stay with a flat fee.
Yeah, I think the flat fee is the best thing to go. Only a flat fee.
So you have no idea what we've paid or a recommendation?
I know we paid $13.50, and you asked me one time, and I think I got 2 of the sheets to look into if it was accurate. And then I said, I need to look in more, let me see how much everything is, so we have an idea. And then I heard I couldn't look in it, but every commissioner should look into it. If an employee works, how long she works,
How
whatever.
many hours
It's
do
all
you think it
public
takes?
information. What, to translate a meeting, you mean?
Yeah.
The public meeting, it depends if it is 3 hours. If the meeting is 3 hours.
It's probably, if our meetings go 4 hours, that's $54. And if it takes twice as much, I still would like to see what we paid in the past.
Yeah, I know.
We'll ask for that.
Just trying to
Go
help
ahead.
here. Flat rate with flat mileage fee based on the townships.
Based on what?
Townships. From where they come
Township.
from. Say, like Effingham, $10, but Jackson would certainly be more. And that would certainly help to cover.
Let's look at what, I'm sorry,
You
go
can lower
ahead.
your initial flat rate a little bit
Yeah,
to help accommodate some of the different variations due to locations,
yeah,
but it still remain a flat rate.
okay. We've got time between now and when the candidate comes in at 11:30 to find out what we've paid in the past.
I know the delegation is paying $200 for the flat fee.
$20 a meeting,
For every meeting and plus mileage.
but
That is what they're paying.
plus mileage?
Yes.
Plus mileage?
And plus mileage. And when other people hear that, or people come here for minutes, they get shocked, and
That's 4.
then they ask for how much we pay for our meetings.
What do they meet, roughly 7 or 8 times a year?
I don't know, I think maybe 10 or more.
Okay. Do we agree that we've got time between now and then to look to see what the cost has been
Yeah.
in the past? Okay.
Yeah, so do you want me to look now into it?
Well,
How much we're paying and the hours and how what's
We'll
including?
ask to get a printout as to what we paid in the past, so all three of us can look at it. And when we resume in non-public at 11:30, we'll have that figure, and we can vote on a flat fee at that time. We have anything else to bring up in public?
Oh, I thought that we're, have to do the minutes, see if we still have those minutes. Those
You got time to do the minutes?
from, May 29, 2013. And it seems accurate, I read it 2 weeks ago. So I make a motion to approve the minutes for May 29, 2013.
I'll second it. Do we have any discussion on the
Yes.
minutes of May 29th?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Steve Brown asked how the committee chose HR applicants. How to choose HR applicants was formed. Commissioner Sorensen explained the process. I think we need to say that the commissioners appointed a committee, basically an individual from each department to form the selection committee.
So you're on page 1, Steve Brown asks how the committee choose HR applicants, so Commissioner Sorensen explained the process. So you want to add?
From various departments?
Representatives from various departments. Commissioner Sorensen appointed individuals from various departments
Individuals
to
represented
form the committee. The Board of Commissioners approved.
from various department. Appointed individuals representing various departments.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
Yep.
Any further discussion on the minutes
No?
as corrected? Okay, all those in support of the motion to accept the May 29th, 2013 minutes
As
with that
corrected.
correction, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And so voted. Okay,
New business, Mr.
go
Chairman?
ahead.
We had a request for 11 or 12 right-to-knows from
Yes,
Melissa.
well, I believe.
Where are we in that? I believe we've answered 9 or 10 of them. Do we still owe her any answers?
Would you want to comment on that, Melissa? As to what you've received or what you haven't received? Maybe what you haven't received would be easier.
Or even what you think we should give you more information on?
I'm just looking at the list of them, and, I'm not really sure that I should, I'm not really sure that I should talk about it in the commissioners' meeting.
We filed them under an open meeting, why wouldn't you be able to
Brought 'em
talk
here.
about them?
Well, I also filed a petition with the court because the right to know request hadn't been fulfilled, and that's still outstanding. I mean, it's an open case, and we're supposed to go to court on the 25th, so I'm not
Mhm.
sure that that's appropriate. And I
Okay.
don't know if the commissioners are having legal representation at the court, or, so I don't know if that's a conversation that we should be having, or that I should be having with your attorney instead.
Okay,
Okay, as long as you realize that we asked a question and
Yeah.
you didn't want to
And I
answer it.
respect that, and just as a matter of procedure more than anything, because I'd be happy to have that conversation, but I'm not sure it's appropriate.
okay.
Okay,
Anything else we need to bring up this morning?
on my checklist, we got the breakfast next Wednesday for the employees and the residents and the commissioners at 7:30. The flagpole on Friday
at 10:30.
Yeah, we announced the hiring of a new HR person. I guess that's it.
That's all I can dig up. Do you have anything, Asher, to bring up?
No, we have
Okay.
non-public.
Yeah,
at
we're not non-public at
11:30.
11:30. Okay, then we'll open it up for public comment. Ed, you had your hand up first.
I have positive news. A previous employee, Barbara Woodburn, says, "I've worked with Erin, who is the LNA recipient of the award. She is a great asset to the county and most deserving of this award. Congrats, Erin." Number 2 question would be about the patient lifts.
Yeah.
Does the state have some type of a statewide procurement
Yes,
for medical devices that we can use
I'm
rather
sure
than
they
trying?
probably do.
Are we going to use that type of procurement, or are we going out off on our own to get these lifts?
Oh, on our own.
Right now, it's on our own if we can get 50% off, plus 20%.
So you're saying there is a state procurement for medical?
I don't know about medical, but there is a
State purchasing
Purchasing
department,
department.
whatever they buy.
Do you think we should kind of look into that? Because that would mean we could get a bulk and get 50% off for the lifts.
We can suggest that to Howie.
We can suggest it, yep.
And you said that, I guess the question would be, have you hired legal counsel for the 91A suit on the 25th?
I think that's a
We
non-public
have
issue,
to talk
isn't it?
about that. We have, the board need to discuss that.
That's a non-public.
Thank you.
Play the game, too.
All right, Melissa, you're next.
On another question about legal counsel, though, is to start the meeting, you passed a motion to rescind the policy about who can call the lawyer. And I wanted to ask at that time, so now I will, why that change? We could start with that.
Because we didn't feel it was workable.
Okay. Are you concerned at all about,
We were looking at expenses when the motion was first brought up several months ago.
right,
The expenses were getting out of hand because everybody was calling the attorney and we were ending up footing the bill. And
yeah,
in order to try to reduce that cost, we tried to eliminate the number of people that would call or talk with an attorney. So we reversed it, Commissioner Babson reversed it for commissioners.
And I have a little comment on that. The first time when Commissioner Babson made that motion, he also directed Kathy Gary to send a letter to everyone. Can Kathy Gary, can we ask her again to send a letter
Mhm.
now to change
Okay.
that each commissioner now have the right?
Okay. Any
So-
further?
so are you no longer concerned about the potential cost overrun of everyone being allowed
We'll
access
see
to the
how
attorney?
We'll see how it works out.
I certainly am, but.
I still don't understand your motivation for reversing yourself, and since you made the motion, maybe you could help us understand what the
In
problem
thinking about
or...
it, something came up along here in a discussion, and it didn't seem fair that an individual with a problem, the county legal problem, couldn't call the lawyer.
But I think this is for commissioners only, they have the right. Are we still going to put a stipulation on, employees or department heads, I think?
They ought to go through,
Yeah,
they ought to go through the commissioners before they
And-
make some phone calls to an attorney.
yeah.
Well, every department has their own legal budget though, right? So as long as they don't overspend their
They
legal
do,
budget?
but we oversee all of the departments'
Right.
funding.
Because a lot of things you can call also, of certain things, primex, what would be free.
There's
Yeah.
no charge with primex.
So you try to go other ways before, maybe calling attorneys your last resort or the most, if it's the only
We have a
appropriate.
choice of going through our own county attorney, we have a choice of going through primex.
Well, HR can call also primex instead of calling an attorney that we have to pay for, if they just have like certain questions. Because the attorney, they bill you for that.
And with our new HR person who has a lot of contacts, may not have to go through an attorney to get the information that we may need. Anything further?
In regards to the minute taker position,
Right.
recording secretary position, there's also the matter of non-public meeting minutes haven't been written for, is it 4 months now? March, April, May, June, 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work into your plan of paying someone a flat rate? If they're going to be going, is that still the intent, that they have to go back through all those tapes and type those minutes?
Well, like I said, I recorded it, but I also have the notes.
Okay.
I have notes, so she's not going to listen to any of those recordings.
Thank you,
So
Melissa.
she's
That's a
gonna
good
write,
point.
It's
she's
just
gonna write
one.
minutes from
It is-
your
It is just
notes?
generic. I have my notes.
I just,
So yes,
Yeah.
the answer to your question is the new hired, where we hire minute taker, will type up the minutes based on recording and her notes.
I try to be objective, but sometimes I provide things if I think they'd be a valuable resource for my county. And a while back, I had given you a form that was produced by the local government center as an outline for doing non-public meeting minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to me that perhaps just to clear up the last 4 months, someone could take, preferably the clerk perhaps, could take her notes and just fill out a form for each one of those sessions and be done with it. That's just, it's a
You know what she's
checklist.
talking about?
It's just a couple of lines about if any decisions were made and a checklist for who was
We need a
there.
checklist
I
from-
have,
And you just date it and put it in a file.
yeah, I have it in notes, my handwriting, but I thought if we're going to release it, if it is typed, it is better.
But really, all
But
you
I
need
can-
is
I
just
can-
a summary of what happened, and if that, I don't know, that's just a suggestion, that
Okay.
as a way to just streamline, clear it up, make efficient, be done. But,
Okay.
and not have to worry about how someone new coming in has access to all this old public, non-public stuff. I don't even know if that's appropriate, is it? I mean, how have you been advised on
There's
that?
really nothing
She
in
would
it.
have to work with her.
Okay.
Thank you.
I had sent an email out just as a question, not necessarily a right to know request, but on two things. I asked why there wasn't a meeting last week, so just wondering if anyone would want to answer now. Why you didn't
We
have,
decided
just
not to have
didn't
one.
have business, or you had, I didn't know if somebody was on vacation or you were out of town or sick or no one showed up, or I just was wondering. Okay.
Was it on the website? There was no meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
There
Okay.
was. It's
Okay.
just as a question. And then I had also sent an email asking about some of the absences that I sent it just to Commissioner Kenney, and I didn't receive a response. And so I was wondering,
Which
Regarding
absences are you
what?
talking about?
I sent you an email. I can pull it up if you want and look at it again. But basically, I was asking about some meetings that you had missed, and I hadn't heard a reason for that, and I was just curious. There was-
Last year, you didn't ask for that. Suddenly this year you asked, and I will have a response.
On your website, probably?
I have to update that. I will have a response and I will send it in.
Okay, I was just specifically, there was a non-public session that was held on a Friday, and I believe it regarded the termination of an employee, and you were absent, and then you were not.
So how do you know a non-public session?
You were not present
and
for
this-
one of the employee department head evaluations, and you missed an interview in the first round with a human resource candidate. And when I wanted to ask you at the meeting, why you had been absent, you were not here for that meeting. So is everything okay? Are you able to fulfill your duties as the clerk, or?
Of course, and I will send in my response.
Okay.
That it's obvious that when other commissioners are absent, they are not here, that you never ask.
Well,
But you
usually
have
we
to
know-
ask.
we-
You have to ask Commissioner Kenney.
We usually
But
know
I will
ahead of
send
time.
in
I'd
my
like to make a
response.
statement here. I haven't missed anything, Commissioner Kenney. I've been to all of these things, and you
Well-
have not.
Well, that's not.
Thank you.
Well, that's not against you. This Commissioner Sorensen was not a couple times here last year. We have
And I
commissioners
mentioned
also
the week
not coming.
before that I would not be here, that I'd be away.
It wasn't my intention to start an argument. I just wanted, I think the people deserve to know for sure that all three commissioners are hearing the same information and they're on the same page.
I haven't missed anything
And
this
if you
year.
have, absences for key appointments or key
Mhm.
sessions, then is the communication good enough that you're all sharing what each other are missing? And
In fact, the meeting that I said I wouldn't be here, that
That's
meeting
all.
was canceled. So I don't think I've missed any. Anyway,
on the smoking policy, it's my understanding that the jail has a no smoking policy on their campus already, and they don't allow smoking, so I know.
I
that.
believe they do, yep.
So it was talked about that you needed to look at the jail too, but I think they already prohibit it
Mhm.
on there. And I just had a right to know request, so I wanted to turn that in, or should I take it downstairs, or I don't.
Once a HR person is hired, all 91A requests will go through her.
Okay. Thank you.
We should have no problem in fulfilling that obligation. Okay, I think Gary should have all that information. Okay? Anything else?
No, I have nothing. Thank you.
Anybody else? Do we have anything else to bring up?
Not on my list.
Not on your list, not on my list. You have
Well, we
anything?
want to make sure that the public knows they're invited to come and work on the county on June 15th by clearing the hiking path, and anybody that would like to come and bring their equipment, they'd be more than welcome. Hopefully, we can provide some coffee and donuts or Danish or muffins or something, but we need help if we're going to get this trail going at no expense to the county, or minimal expense to the county.
I cannot make it, I have another obligation on the 15th, but I will try to put some time in on the trail. I'd be willing to cut some brush and so forth.
Please keep in mind that that's Kingswood's graduation day. Just,
So the graduates can't come, but the parents can?
no, the parents aren't coming.
Okay, I would move that we adjourn with the exception of an interview at 11:30.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded that we adjourn our meeting with the exception of a non-public session with an interview for the recording secretary applicant. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye, then so voted. Thank you very much. Come on.
11:03.